Ranking every Spider-Man movie from worst to best. In dead last place, it's so easily The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I will not let you guys convince me that this is a good film. First of all, Electro and the Green Goblin in this movie are two of the worst and most cringeworthy villains we've ever seen in a comic book movie, period. Every single scene with them is absolutely unbearable to watch. Yes, I'll admit, the stuff between Peter and Gwen in this movie is actually pretty solid. Of course, her death scene is an amazing scene, but that does not make the movie on its own good. This is a terrible script. Its biggest downfall is ultimately that I feel like this movie's so focused on setting up a Sinister Six and Amazing Spider-Man 3 that it forgets that this actually needs to be a good movie on its own, and it's such a mess because of it. Number 9 is Spider-Man Far From Home. I dislike this movie more every single time I watch it. I feel like the humor in this film is just way off. It feels like a Disney Channel original movie at times, just not funny at all. Jake Gyllenhaal is a great actor, and I do really love the Mysterio illusion sequences in this movie, but I don't really love how they handled his character as like this quote-unquote twist hero. It was just kind of stupid. And it just point blank period does not feel like a Spider-Man story to me. Like, maybe it's because it takes place in a different country or all the stupid drone things that happen later in this film, but I really do not care for this movie whatsoever. And number 8 is the first The Amazing Spider-Man movie. I do really love a lot of the action scenes and how they utilize Spider-Man's powers in this, of him like crawling around the different enemies, and the swinging sequences are great in this film. This is not like a top tier comic book villain. He's enjoyable enough. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of how Peter Parker's handled in this movie, even though I do love the Spider-Man element of the film, and the entire plot of the lizard being like, oh, I'm gonna turn everybody into a lizard is just incredibly dumb. Number 7's a little bit of a jump up in quality. It's Spider-Man 3. Yes, this movie is incredibly flawed. There's way too much going on. The studio forced Venom to be in this movie, which is why I feel so messy. But there's great elements in this movie. It still has that same Sam Raimi charm. It's just as goofy as ever. I do think the Sandman is actually a really great villain. I kind of wish he just had this entire movie to himself. Like I said, if Venom wasn't forced in this film, it would have been a lot better just focusing in on Sandman, because he is a really interesting character and it's a great performance. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Venom in this movie, I think it's actually a pretty terrible Venom. I do love everything with the symbiote suit, of course. Even the goofy moments like the dance in the street, come on, it's iconic. So a very flawed movie, but you can't not have a ton of fun with it. And number 6, I have Spider-Man No Way Home. After I watched this thing in theaters, it was a 10 out of 10. One of the best Marvel movies I've ever seen in my life. I've rewatched it like 3 or 4 times since, and just like Far From Home, I dislike it more every single time, but it's still a very good movie, don't get me wrong. The entire last hour after Tobey and Andrew come in is absolutely amazing, and it's not just because we're seeing those Spider-Man again, it's because actually the things that happen to Tom Holland's Spider-Man is incredible. His arc is great. Of course, you got all those other villains which are iconic to see, but Willem Dafoe absolutely steals the show as the Green Goblin and gives another A-tier performance as his character. He's just so good in everything he's in. What really doesn't work for me is the first hour of the movie. The humor, just like Far From Home, is really off, and just that classic MCU cringy humor in the first hour of this film. Everything with Doctor Strange, I honestly do not care for at all. Like, I do not like how his character's handled in this movie or him interacting with Peter. It just feels like we're just slugging along to somehow get to the second half. It's a very flawed movie that was super special to see in theaters for the first time, but just kind of middle of the road now. Number 5 is Spider-Man Homecoming. I really like this movie. I don't understand the hate that I see a lot of people giving for this. First of all, outside of some of the Tony elements, this really is still the smaller scale, more street level Spider-Man movie everybody begs for all the time. Like, yeah, we got it right here with Homecoming. Like, the Vulture's literally just some regular guy trying to make a living for his family, and he starts robbing things. Like, he's not some supernatural villain or anything. Michael Keaton is incredible as this character. The reveal of him being Liz's dad, it's so incredible to watch every time. I'll never forget how shocked I was by that the first time I watched it. The movie's also legitimately super funny. Like, this film is first and foremost kind of a comedy, which maybe that's why some people don't like it, but a lot of the humor does really work in this film for me. I will say it's a little weak on a lot of the action sequences in this movie and super light on them, but still the scene of him like saving his friends in the elevator and stuff is really solid. I really like this movie. I know some people hate the Iron Man elements, but I'm sorry, RDJ is so good as this character. The entire exchange of him being like, if you're nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have it. That's one of my favorite Spider-Man scenes, period. At number 4, I have the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, an absolute classic. It's a perfect origin story. I absolutely adore Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, just like I said for Spider-Man No Way Home. I think he's even better in this movie, but they're both incredible performances of the same character, just so insane. Just so many great pure Spider-Man moments, everything on the bridge at the end, so many great quotes, just an absolute classic of a film. Before I get to my top 3, let me know in the comments below your ranking of every Spider-Man movie, and hit that follow button. At number 3, I have Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. I absolutely adore everything this movie is and about. It perfectly captures the character of Peter and the struggle between being Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Everything with him losing his powers is an absolutely peak storyline. Even though the Green Goblin's my favorite Spider-Man movie villain of all time, Doc Ock is not far behind. Alfred Molina is so great as his character. And number 2, I have Across the Spider-Verse. This movie's an absolute spectacle on all levels. Obviously, the visuals and animation are top tier. The soundtrack from Metro Boomin, absolutely iconic. I still listen to songs from the soundtrack to this day. I think the depiction of the relationship between Miles and Gwen in this film is the best relationship we've ever seen in a Spider-Man movie between him and his love interest. Like, it just handled so perfectly because the movie smartly makes Gwen like almost the main character of the film over Spider-Man in some elements. Of course, everything with the Spot is so good. I can't wait to see where they take this and Beyond the Spider-Verse. Absolutely love how we explore more of Miguel O'Hara's character. Like, Oscar Isaac is incredible as him. Just a great film all throughout. But number 1, I have to go with Into the Spider-Verse. It's very close between this and Across the Spider-Verse. I think this one's slightly better though, in my opinion. Maybe just because this is like a full story and doesn't have an insane cliffhanger like Across the Spider-Verse does, but this movie is really just perfect. Everything I said about the soundtrack and visuals for Across the Spider-Verse is obviously true for this movie too. All the multiversal Spider-Man, like Spider-Noir in particular, he's my favorite, but they're all so incredible. Such a great supporting cast in this film. I honestly think The Leap of Faith might be my favorite Spider-Man movie scene of all time. Now, if you want to see my ranking of every single superhero movie released this decade from worst to best, click the video at the top of the screen, or my ranking of all the Fantastic Four films, click the video at the bottom. Thank you so much for watching.